Hey everybody, Josh from Populi here. Complete this video to learn more about inquiry form settings. The inquiry form in Populi used to be more skeletal. Now it's got sinews and viscera, even skin, but no appendix. We have a video that overviews the function of the inquiry form in Populi and covers details about building forms. That might be helpful to watch before you get into this video. You'll find that linked in the description below. This video will be most useful for users with the admissions admin role because they actually have access to admissions, settings, inquiry forms, where you can design and edit inquiry forms. However, some folks with the admissions and the academic admin role might be interested in some of the information here because it affects them downstream. Okay, so we're here under admission settings, inquiry forms, and then I'll click into this form. And once I've done that, you can see we've got a title here, but we can manage how that title works. So you gave this form a name when you created it. Let's look at some details about the form name and how that shows up here. You have options that we can access by clicking over here under the 3 stacked dots. So we can retire this form or delete it. When we use retire, that's when we want to keep the instances of the form that we've received from the inquirers, and then we use delete here when we're fine with getting rid of all of those. If we choose edit name up here, we can see some of our options about the name. We can use the form name as the title. That's what this setting right here does. But then we can also choose to designate another title by clicking enter a title and then giving it a title here. Or then we could also choose to not have any title here. So let me show you how this works. We're going to enter the title specimen here and then save. And so then over here on the left, you can see we still have the form name, but then it has a different title. And that title is what's going to show up when we look at a preview. So we can always preview the form, and this is as good a time as any. If we click over here on preview form, we're going to be taken to that preview. And now you can see that the title that's showing up top here is specimen, that other title that we designated. And then we have the rest of the form right underneath. We'll exit that preview. Okay, so under settings here, you can see that this is currently set to published is no. And then if we look over here, we see that this is a draft that shows up as a label there when this form is unpublished. Okay. If we click publish, or if we go to publish and set this to yes, we both accomplish the same thing. And essentially what that does is it just gives us this embed code option down here. That code is what you'll give to whoever manages your public facing website. So they'll pop that embed code onto the site, into the behind the scenes code of the site, and then prospects will be able to find it there on your site. You can have different embed codes for the same inquiry form for different programs. You can also have the option to use different codes for sources, for lead sources here. Lead sources let you use different embed codes for different sources. And that way you can see where your leads are coming from. Let's say you're advertising on a website, you create a lead source for that site, and then you're going to set that as the source here. Lead sources are easy to create. They're right over here under the lead sources tab. You just add a source there. And then once you've got your source type and source created, you can come back over here, back into the form. And then for the embed code right here, where you've got the option to select a source, you're just able to choose that right there. So you're able to set the correct source. And then this code down here is specific to that source. When you send that to whatever website is advertising here, that's the one that they have embedded on their site. Then you're going to be able to see that inquiries are coming from that site. Similar thing for program. All inquiries that have the embed code that's set for, say, undergraduate are going to be for that designated program. So if you include a linked field for course of study on your inquiry form, you can use this to close the program option down. So it would lock the program part of the course of study. So then inquirers using that particular form only choose degrees within that course of study that are within that program. Let's look at text messaging here. Set this to yes if you're collecting the phone number from your inquirers and you want to give them the option to allow you to contact them via text. So down here on this form, you can see that we've got the phone number right there. Let's preview the form with that turned off. That's what we've got there. And then we'll exit the preview and then we'll turn that on. And then we'll preview it again with that on. And this is what's showing up there. So they input their phone number and then they can tick the box here to use that phone number for text messaging. Then you can get a hold of them via text. Okay, next field is custom CSS. And CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Okay, since this form is embeddable, you may want to alter it to make it look more like your site or make other customizations. So if you know CSS or have access to someone who does, you can input CSS code here to change how the embed of the form looks and so on. And just as a note, our support team doesn't manage custom CSS for you. Someone on your end will need to do that. Okay, let's look at the thank you message field here. I'm going to click on that and I can input a little note here that thanks the inquirer and confirms that the form has been submitted. So they'll get that. Okay, so we've got the note here, and then in a second, we'll see when they'll see that. So you'll be able to see exactly how this works from the inquirer's perspective. The next field here is the redirect URL. If you want to send an inquirer to a specific page after they submit their inquiry, you can input that page's URL right here. I'm going to input the Wikipedia page for Scottish poet Ivor Cutler because more people should be aware of him. We'll save that and then we'll look at the thank you and the redirect URL, how that shows up for the inquirer. I'm going to click here to view the inquiry form. I'll fill this out real quick. And now when I submit this inquiry, I get that message real quick here, and then boom, we go right to that page that we entered into the URL redirect. So that would be the end of the student experience of submitting an inquiry, but then your institution, of course, shows these inquiries under the inquiries tab right over here. So this is under admissions, inquiries. We can see those showing up right there. Okay, so you can check down in the description for related resources, including that video we mentioned at the beginning that covers some of the overview and then building the forms themselves. Do you want to dig deeper and get more value out of Populi for your school? Join our Discord server. It's where Populi users can ask each other questions and capitalize on community knowledge. If you want to become part of that community, go to Help in Populi and choose Join the User Community. That'll take you to a spot that has instructions about how you can get set up. I've been Josh for Populi. You've been great. Thanks for watching.